Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're working on the V neckband. I love what a V neckband looks like, but it's always kind of scary. I feel like everybody's a little bit scared of the V, but it really isn't that scary at all, especially when you take some steps to make sure that you're going to get it just right. So we're gonna go ahead and go through all the steps together, and we're going to conquer this V, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Let's do it. Okay, so I am going to be using the tank, the Slow Sunday tank for this V-neck. But really you can use it for any kind of V-neck you're doing. You could even use it for the fireside or just any other V-neck you want. So we're gonna start by, here is my V-neck. See the little V like shape on it. We're gonna grab it and we're gonna place them right sides together at the V. And I am going to, you can grab, if you want to, measure from the edge in a 1/4 inch, because we're gonna sew a 1/4 inch in, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pin, and I'm going to look at it from my sewing machine. You can also mark it. You can make a line that goes straight down, so that way when you're coming around with your sewing machine, you stop at that line and go back, so you know exactly where that V is right there. So you can use some water soluble or air soluble marker, or if you wanted to even use some like a washable marker that later you can wash, that can be a little bit helpful too, but you don't have to do that. That's just an extra step. So let's go over to the sewing machine and prep this band. All right, so we're going to go ahead and work on piecing that V together first. I like to put a little pin here at the edge of my neckband, so that way I can help kind of guide it as it's going through my sewing machine. Also, one of the things to make sure about is that you have a knit ballpoint needle on to help you so that your sewing machine won't eat your fabric. Also, if you're using very thin fabric and your sewing machine is known to eat it, you can put some interfacing underneath it and use it to help you get more strength, and then just kind of trim it afterwards. So those are some good options. We're going to go down. I'm going to put my pin down, and we're going to do a 1/4 inch from the edge of the seam in. We're going to go down to that middle spot right there. You can look at your mark that you left with your pen, or remove your pin right before and stop right at your pin, and then turn and go down to the other side. So let's go down. I'm going to remove this pin and get to my V. One more. Kind of do it slowly because I want it to look nice and sharp, and then we're going over down to the other end. Okay, and there it is. My V is created. I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to make a little clip right here. Make sure you don't cut the thread. You just go right up to the thread. Then now we're going to go over to the ironing board and steam that down. Now we're going to grab our, I have my band. It's opened up. Here's my V. I'm going to open up that seam allowance right there and just steam it down on both sides. Steam it down. And then I'm going to fold it wrong sides together. And there is my V-neck on my band. Right there is ready. But I want to make sure that all my edges are wrong sides together, so we can go ahead and steam all the way around. All right, now our band is steamed. We're gonna go over and prep it on our sewing machine. We wanna do the same thing to this side. We're gonna baste it down, go to the V-neck, go back up. That way our V-neck doesn't stretch out or anything. We're going to be attaching it, and we are actually going to be doing the same to our top. So I'm gonna open up my top, and I'm actually going to mark, if you want to mark with a pen or whatever, right where the V-neck is, or, you know, put a pin right there. and we're gonna do a stay stitch. We're gonna start about 1.5 inches away from the edge, and we're gonna go down and then stop at the middle and go back up, so that that is not gonna stretch out or move on you when you're going to connect it. So we're gonna do the same for both. We're gonna go about 1.5 inches or 2 inches from the side, go down, stop at the V-neck, turn and go up with a stay stitch, and we're gonna do the same for the neckline. Go down, stop at the V-neck, go up. So let's go do that. Since these are just like prepping steps, I am doing a basting stitch, which is a long straight stitch on my sewing machine. It's something that I can later pull out once I sew my top on. There's not something that's gonna have to stay. Okay, so I'm gonna start about 1.5 inches. I'm 1/4 inch away from the edge, and I'm just going straight. And then when I get right to my V, I'm going to turn and go the other way. Okay. So now my V is basted so it doesn't move on me when I'm trying to sew it on. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same for my bodice, so that way it doesn't stretch on me as I'm trying to sew that V-neck on. Okay, once I've done it to my bodice, I'm going to go ahead and clip my bodice as well, like I did with my neckband. Whoop, sorry. Like I did with my neckband, just clip it right up to it. And I might have to redo that because I think my stitch was a little bit too long. My basting stitch is a size 6, so I think I'm gonna go down to like a 4. I think most sewing machines basting stitch is a 4, mine is a 6, but I could go down a little bit more and fix it so it's not so drapey. But that's what it is. Then we're gonna go ahead and put them together and sew. All right, our V-neck is prepped and our band is also prepped. So I'm gonna put it right sides together, and we're gonna match up basically that basting stitch with the basting stitch on your V-neck. And sorry, I gotta make it a little bit closer so you can really see it. And we're just gonna go ahead and put them right up there. We're gonna pin. And that's where we're going to stop when we're sewing it together. So we're gonna go ahead and sew our V-neck on first. So just the same thing you did. It's almost like you were just prepping for this step. The same thing you did basting it, you're going to do the same thing. We're gonna baste, but now we're gonna do both of them together. We're gonna start over here so what you were doing is you were stay stitching it so your fabric wouldn't stretch on you and give you a wonky neck. Now you're actually basting it on, so then when you sew the neckline on, that will not come apart. So we're gonna start right here about 1.5 inches to 2 inches away from the V. We're gonna go down, stop at the V, turn our fabric, go up, and baste that V-neck together. And then we'll go and sew it all together on. All right, so here we go. We're gonna go ahead and put our band on there. Make sure that it is all cut underneath it, 1/4 inch, and we're going down. And we're gonna go down to the V. There we go. Then we're gonna turn over and go the other way, making sure that it's still cut underneath. Both layers, well, 3 layers now actually, because you've got the layer of the bodice and the 2 layers of the neckband. And we're going down. And when you turn it, you have your V-neck right there. So we're gonna go back over and we're gonna turn it around. Now we're gonna attach our whole band all the way around. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to quarter my band and quarter my neckband. So I'm gonna grab my band and I'm gonna go from one side, from the front all the way to the back. And I like to do like a little notch to clip and quarter. And I'll put a pin there because I'm gonna have to pin it to my top. and then I'm gonna grab and match the front where the V is in the back and go to the sides and mark those sides. And I'm gonna do the same for my bodice. We got that back seam, we've got that V front, put those together, go to the sides, mark, and mark. And because we have a back seam already on our bodice, we already know that that's the back, so we don't have to mark it. Now we're gonna go ahead, and I like to just bring my band all the way around, and we're matching it right sides together. So the right side of the band is gonna touch the right side of the bodice top, the neckline, and we're gonna match those quarters that we marked. Now that it's all pinned, we're gonna go around and sew the raw edges together. We are almost done. This is our last step. So now all that prepping comes in handy now. I like to start right at the V, and we're going to place, now you could do this with, if you don't have a serger, you can also do it with a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. Some kind of stretch stitch on your sewing machine will work just fine. I start at the V and go one way. Make sure you grab where the 1/4 inch is. Hold on, I like to put my needle down right on my neckband so that it can trap it right there. I'm going to pull on this band to make it match evenly those edges with the bodice and the band. So I'm grabbing right here where the notch is, where my 1/4 point is, and I'm kind of stretching that band out to match it all evenly. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew and stop at that 1/4 point, and then go to my next 1/4 point and situate it all together again. Pull, make sure it's straight, and then I'm gonna go do the same thing all the way around. And your V-neck is on. Now all we need to do is go back and pull all those basting stitches off, steam really nicely. And on the back, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine and lap that that tail right over my seam, and I'm just going to zigzag stitch it on there so I can get rid of it, or however you like to get rid of your serger tails. Don't just clip it off, but actually put it away somehow. And you can also go back, and if you want to go ahead and top stitch around the neckline, that would also give it a really good look, but that looks really good. Okay, we are done with our V-neck. I'm going to go give it a good steam and finish up my sleeves and everything. I'm so excited about it. I love how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this took a little bit of your fear of the V-neck away, and that you're gonna go ahead and do it for yourself. Please comment, like, share, subscribe. Come find us on Facebook or Instagram so you can share your makes with us. We wanna see what you're making, and we want you to see what everybody else in the community is making so you can be inspired. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.